All right, diving in today with The Truman Show. This one's got it all. Manipulation, free will, what even is reality anyway? All the good stuff. And you sent in some really interesting thoughts on this one.
It really gets under your skin, doesn't it? I mean, on the surface, it's this guy, Truman Burbank, living the dream life, totally clueless that his every move is broadcasted globally. But your analysis, it went deeper, like way deeper.
Totally. You picked up on that core conflict. It's like reality versus like totally fabricated reality, right? Plus that whole consumerism angle and how storytelling plays into all of this. You really honed in on how Truman's life is this giant spectacle. Every moment, watched, picked apart, consumed. It's kind of creepy when you think about it.
And the director, Peter Weir, he uses every trick in the book to make that point. Like all those close-ups, the way the camera peeks into Truman's world, it's like we become the voyeurs.
And Sea Haven, right, that town. Picture perfect, but in a way that's almost, I don't know, unsettling. Those colors, they're so pastel.
Yeah, exactly. Like a postcard of the American dream, but dialed up to 11. You get this feeling that it's all fake, that this happiness, well, it comes at a price.
Which makes Truman's name even more ironic. Truman, true man. It's like the filmmakers are screaming, hey, pay attention. This is about finding what's real in a world built on lies.
Yeah, and his journey, trying to break free from all that, it's like a metaphor for, well, for becoming who you really are. Like Plato's cave, right? The prisoners think shadows are reality until one guy escapes and sees the light. Truman, he's got to do the same thing.
Okay, that's like deeply profound. But we can't talk about Truman without talking about Christoph, the guy pulling all the strings. Your analysis on this was spot on because Christoph, he's complicated.
Because he's not just some mustache-twirling villain. He really believes he's doing the right thing, building this safe, controlled world for Truman. He'd probably say Truman's got it good, none of the pain of the real world.
Okay, hold on. That's where things get a little ethically murky. Who gets to decide what a good life is? And when does protecting someone become like straight up manipulation, even if you think you're doing it for their own good?
Totally. And film doesn't give you easy answers. I mean, Christoph's control, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
He messes with the weather, controls who Truman meets, even engineers those emotional moments, all for good TV.
So he's basically like any system, any institution that would rather have people follow the rules than, think for themselves. And that's why even now, The Truman Show, it feels relevant, like you compared it to 1984, right?
100%. They both tap into that fear we have, being watched, controlled by something we don't understand, something we didn't sign up for.
And the way the film uses product placement, that's part of it, right? It's not just in Truman's world. It spills over into ours as the viewers.
It's like it's saying, hey, you think you're so different from those people, glued to the TV, hooked on Truman's manufactured life. It makes you think, are we all living in our own little sea havens?
Whoa, okay. We need to unpack that. Okay, jumping back into The Truman Show, and I gotta say, this film, it's like a funhouse mirror, kind of shows us a warped reflection of ourselves.
Right. And that product placement thing we were talking about, that's part of it. It's like we see how it works in the film, but it also kind of pulls us in like we're part of the whole system.
Yeah, those viewers totally glued to their screens, living through Truman, makes you wonder, are we really that different? I mean, think about it. We love reality TV. We get invested in these curated online lives.
You're preaching to the choir, social media, right?
Right.
It's like everyone's Truman now. We pick and choose what we show, always trying to put our best face forward.
And the film, it nails that, especially in those moments when Truman, he looks right at the camera. It's like he knows we're there watching. Kind of breaks that fourth wall,
Chills, man. Chills.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you remember, you're not just watching a movie, you're part of this whole thing. It's like Truman's reality, it depends on us watching.
Makes you think. If it was you, right? If you were Truman, would you want that? All that attention, but at what cost?
The ultimate trade-off. He wants something real, genuine, even if it means giving up this perfect little world.
And the ending, man, it stays with you. He finally escapes, sails away from Sea Haven, and you're like, yes, freedom, but also, what now?
The film, it doesn't really give you answers, does it? Just leaves you hanging like, okay, he's out. But is that it? What does he do now? What does real freedom even look like?
It's like it's asking you, the viewer, what would you do? Would you take that leap? Step into the unknown, even if it meant leaving everything you knew behind?
Heavy stuff, man. It really makes you think about your own life, your choices. What are you willing to give up for a shot at something real, something true?
Back again with The Truman Show, and this film, it doesn't let you off easy, does it? It's like those questions we've been talking about, they stick with you long after the credits roll.
It's that perfect blend of entertainment and like social commentary, you know? We're invested in Truman, we're laughing, we're on the edge of our seats, but then, bam, the film hits you with this, like, unsettling truth about ourselves.
Yeah, it's like that moment you realize the magician is using misdirection. You see the strings, the mirrors, the whole facade. And in the Truman Show, those strings, they lead right back to us, the audience.
Totally. We're implicated in this whole Truman thing, whether we like it or not. We see those viewers glued to their screens, living through them, and it's like, hold on, are we any different?
Right. We're all about our curated realities now, right? Social media feeds, personalized ads, algorithms telling us what to watch, what to buy. It's like we're all living in our own little Truman shows, surrounded by things that are designed to keep us hooked.
And just like Truman, it's easy to forget to question it all, you know? We get so used to our comfortable little bubbles, we forget there's a whole world outside.
And that's the real message, isn't it? It's a warning about what happens when we just accept things at face value, when we stop thinking for ourselves. But it's also, like, hopeful.
Absolutely. It's about waking up, taking back control. Like Truman sailing away from Sea Haven? That's us realizing we have a choice. We don't have to play by someone else's rules.
We can step outside the echo chamber, right? Challenge the things we're told, search for our own truth.
And that all starts with awareness, right? Like
Yep.
recognizing the ways our thoughts, our desires are being influenced, sometimes without us even realizing it.
Questioning the stories we tell ourselves, the stories we're sold, the whole system, really.
Because real freedom, being truly authentic, it's about thinking critically, challenging everything. It's about forging your own path.
And speaking of paths, remember that shot of Truman's boat approaching the edge of the dome? That fake sky giving way to, well, who knows what?
Man, that's a powerful image. Makes you think about the limits we put on ourselves, the boundaries we accept without even realizing it.
So we gotta ask, what's your dome? What's holding you back? What would it take for you to break free, to embrace the unknown, the possibilities? It's been awesome diving deep into the Truman Show with you. You had some seriously insightful takes on this one.
Absolutely. And to everyone listening, keep those questions coming, keep exploring, and never stop being curious. Because out there, in the real world, beyond the domes we build, that's where the real adventure is.
That's right. Until next time, keep diving deep.